Hello. I'd like to say a big hello to all of my friends and family down under. Hello from up above here in Las Vegas. Fabulous, blazing hot Las Vegas. Today is the day before where I live my cousin Luke Duroy's birthday. So happy birthday, Luke. It's his dad Ray's idea that I read some stories, and I'll be happy to do so. Let's start with Scooby Doo and the Shamrock Scare. The Shamrock Scare. That's easier to read because whoever had this book before me decided to cover it with stickers. Isn't that lovely? So let's start here. Scooby Doo and the Shamrock Scare. This is a picture clue book. So it's also a rebus book. What rebus means, it's a fancy word that means anytime you see a picture, then you say what the picture stands for instead of a word. Instead of seeing the word, it shows you a picture instead. So for example, here we have like Scooby Doo and Shaggy Man. On this side of the flashcard, you have a picture of the word Shaggy, and the picture on the back side is a picture of Shaggy. Also, we have the van or mystery machine, and balloons, and a cup, it's calling it, a house, paper, scissors. Oops, things are backwards, hold on. Shamrocks, cookies, a leprechaun, clothes, hair, hat, milk, door, table, eyes, window. I'd say that's the window of the mystery machine. It just says window. And float. I believe it says float. Yeah, a float. A float is like a platform with wheels on it, either self-powered with a motor underneath or pulled by a vehicle, by a car, that people ride on in parades. And they're decorated different ways. One of the most famous examples in America anyway is the Macy's Day Parade. And another big one is the Tournament of Roses Parade that they have for college football. Those are big, very important parades here in America. And we do have St. Patrick's Day parades in some cities. Sometimes even Las Vegas has some, because a lot of the cities in America have a pretty good sized Irish population, people who have Irish descent. So they like to have that in March for St. Patrick's Day. That's what this story is about. So yeah, we have Shaggy and Scooby. And that is Daphne. This is Velma. That is Fred. And this, of course, is a box of Scooby Snacks. Yes. Scooby Snacks. You can actually get, in America anyway, you can get graham crackers that are shaped like little bones, and it says Scooby Snacks on the box. They're pretty good, actually. Alright, let's get started. And I'll hold up the page. This is the illustration for the first page. So you can set the scene here. We got Shaggy and Scooby Doo. We have boxes of Scooby Snacks. They're getting stocked up. Alright. It was St. Patrick's Day. Scooby Doo and the gang were happy. There was going to be a parade. Then Daphne's Aunt Molly was having a party, and the gang was going to help. They packed the van, or mystery machine, with green balloons and Scooby Snacks, and drove to Aunt Molly's house. See? Every time I see one of these pictures, right there, whoop, like there, I see that picture, I'll say Daphne, you know, and so on. And that's how these rebus books work. So yes, they're packing up the Scooby Snacks to go to Aunt Molly's house. There was a lot to do before the party. Oh, here is the picture to go with the scene. Here we have Velma and Fred getting ready for decorating the party. Scooby Doo and Shaggy went to the kitchen to get cups. Velma got paper and scissors to make shamrocks. Fred decorated the van for the parade. Daphne and Aunt Molly went to the store for cookies and milk. It's been a while since I watched Scooby Doo. I keep getting their names mixed up. Sorry. Suddenly, Scooby Doo and Shaggy shouted. Velma and Fred ran into the kitchen. "What's wrong?" asked Fred. Shaggy and Scooby were shaking. "Like we saw a scary leprechaun," said Shaggy. He had orange hair and a green hat and green clothes. "Don't be silly," said Fred. "A leprechaun is not scary." And there is Scooby Doo and Shaggy. They're scared because they think they saw a leprechaun and they're afraid of leprechauns. I suppose if you saw a real one, it would be a little freaky because they're usually very small little guys, you know, in stories, and they're magical, and in some stories they're not very nice. I can see why they might be a little frightened of them if they knew all these things about leprechauns. They'll play tricks on you, you know, and they'll make you think that there's gold at the end of the rainbow. Of course, there never is in most stories. It's actually a trick. Instead, you're trapped or captured or something. "Don't be silly," said Fred. "A leprechaun is not scary." "Well, this one was," said Shaggy. "Where did the leprechaun go?" asked Velma. "Like he ran out the back door," said Shaggy. "Let's look for him," said Fred. "No way," said Shaggy. Shaggy and Scooby-Doo ran out of the kitchen. And here's the scene. Here is Velma, and she's wondering why in the world Scooby-Doo is trying to get his huge frame. He's a big dog. He's a Great Dane or something. Underneath that little coffee table. That would be hard to do. But when Velma went back to her shamrocks, they were gone. "Jinkies!" she cried. "Someone stole the shamrocks." "Ruh-roh," said Scooby-Doo, and he hid under the table. "See?" said Shaggy. "It was a leprechaun." Shaggy hid under the table with Scooby-Doo. That'd be a tight fit. Here they are. They're looking for the shamrocks. There's the paper left over, the scraps from where they were cutting them out earlier. But now the shamrocks themselves are gone. And Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are hiding behind the couch instead. "Why are you under the table?" asked Velma. "We need to find the leprechaun." Scooby found a clue," said Shaggy. Fred picked up a piece of paper. "It's a poster for the parade," said Fred. "Roo-hoo," said Scooby-Doo. Yeah, you see, Scooby-Doo, being a dog, he can't talk very well. He has a speech impediment. You know, it kind of makes sense because dogs don't actually talk. They don't have the same kind of mouth that humans do. Here is a picture of the gang in the Mystery Machine. They're all decked out with shamrocks and green balloons for the parade. So at some point, they must find those shamrocks, huh? Let's see. Fred drove the Mystery Machine in the parade. "Keep your eyes open," he said. "We have to find that leprechaun." Scooby-Doo and Shaggy and Velma waved out the window. "Ruh-roh," said Scooby-Doo. He pointed to a green float with green shamrocks. Riding in the float was a leprechaun. "Zoinks," said Shaggy. Shaggy and Scooby-Doo hid in the back of the van. So apparently they must have found some more shamrocks elsewhere, or made some more. But they still got to figure out where the rest of the shamrocks went to, and got to catch that leprechaun and make him pay for what he's done. Here is the leprechaun on his float, and there's the audience, and there's Scooby-Doo chasing the float to see where it goes to. "Scooby!" said Velma. Will you follow the leprechaun's float for some Scooby snacks? Okay, said Scooby. He'll do almost anything for Scooby snacks. Scooby jumped out of the van to chase the float. Ah, they've caught him. They finally chased down the leprechaun. Let's see how it happens. When the van, the mystery machine, reached the finish line, Scooby was there. He was standing with the leprechaun. Hey, you, said Velma. Are those our shamrocks? Did you take them from Aunt Molly's house? Maybe. Just then, Daphne and Aunt Molly arrived at the scene. What's going on? Asked Daphne. Fred and Velma told her about the missing shamrocks and the leprechaun. Oh no! Daphne laughed. Aunt Molly walked up to the leprechaun and pulled his orange hair. It was a wig. This happens a lot in Scooby Doo. If you ever watched the cartoons, you should. If you haven't seen them before. Lots of disguises. Oh, no, it's not who we thought it was. It's someone else. You know, that's Scooby Doo for you. It's a trope, as they call it. Something that happens a lot in a certain kind of story. Here we have the leprechaun has been unmasked, in this case unwigged. And all is well that ends well. Let's see exactly how that happens. That's no leprechaun, said Daphne. This is my Uncle Sean. I thought I'd borrow the shamrocks, said Uncle Sean, and return them for the party. Let's go to the party, said Daphne. Oh, let's eat, said Shaggy. Scooby-Doo ate some Scooby snacks. Scooby-Doo, he said. Ah, did you spot all the picture clues in the Scooby-Doo mystery? Each picture clue is on a flashcard, like I talked about earlier. Ask a grown-up to cut out the flashcards, then try reading the words on the back of the cards. The pictures will be your clue. Reading is fun with Scooby-Doo. That's what this says. And that's how rebus works. And that is the story of the Shamrock Scare. Oh, it was pretty scary, wasn't it? So they did catch him. Well, thanks for listening.